No, he's got it now. You're giving him high expectations, right? He's got to live up to something with that name.
He's got the world on his shoulders.
There you go.
Yeah, it's great.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, so, all right. Now that we got who you are, and you're from Lockport, and let's get into the Green Party, because, you know, I am a no-party person. I hate the parties. I can't stand Democrats, can't stand Republicans, and that doesn't mean the people. I don't mean the voters. I don't mean the people that are part of the party. I mean the establishment, you know,
Totally agree.
those guys, you know, the not even the committee people that are here. Like, because I think people then think I'm talking about them personally, and I'm not. I'm talking more about, you know, the establishment is what it is. So what is the Green Party for people that don't know? How would you be able to put it like in a like a platform, I guess?
Okay. I guess the biggest reason why I joined the Green Party years ago is because I believe that money is what is the problem with politics. We have corporations, lobbyists. I mean, I know it's an old lame joke, but these politicians should be wearing, you know, who they're representing, just like NASCAR drivers. I mean, this is ridiculous. It controls legislation. So, you know, we get Joe Biden as president. We're not going to get health. No. We're not going to get Medicare for all. We're going to get a single-payer service probably that doesn't get to the problem. Where the problem in our healthcare field is the private businesses jacking up the prices, and they control the prices. So single-payer doesn't do anything and puts no regulations in towards that stopping that private business. So that's exactly why we need Medicare for all. It's a shame the Democratic Party is so corrupt that we can't have Bernie Sanders as our president.
Well, you know, I just know that talking to some people, you'll hear that I knew somebody the other day I saw on Facebook that had got stung by a bee and needed the EpiPen, but the pen cost $1,200. So, you know, what are you going to do?
Right,
you can't get the pen.
I'm going to go out back and get some mud and slap it on that bee sting. That's what I'm going to do.
But, I mean, and then you have people that are talking about real serious. I mean, I know somebody who is talking about their prescription for their sick child, their sick daughter, is $311,000 a year because they have cystic fibrosis. I mean, you can't. Who's gonna? And thank God the person.
Impossible.
Thank God the person has good
impossible.
insurance. Thank God, because I couldn't even imagine if they were in maybe my shoes that don't have that kind or whatever. I don't know what you do. This is why I think Wade and Chris, there seems to be an appetite. There has to be an appetite for something to happen with healthcare. And I'll tell you something else that you'll probably be shocked to hear. I think you almost have a better shot with the president now than you would with Joe Biden as far as doing anything about healthcare.
Oh, well, I would say yes and no. I would say Biden will go for that single payer service, just like Obama tried to do until the Republicans. I mean, how many times that bill go back and forth before actually getting through for Obamacare? So that was their original plan, and I believe it's going to just make the problem worse because there's nothing in single-payer service that will stop them private businesses from jacking up the price that they do it right now. We need Medicare for all. That's just it.
Yeah.
And Biden's not going to do it. I don't see Trump doing it. More likely, I guess. But you know, pick your poison. Are you going to go for Biden and not have health care, or are you going to go for Trump and continue to have our country lose money, and I mean all these emissions being created? This is damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Well, that's the second. Now this will be the second election we've had that it feels like, you know, where we're going to do the lesser of two evils for some. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen either. I can see either one of them winning the election, Biden or President Trump. My thing for President Trump, and this, Chris, jump in if you want.
Yeah.
My biggest thing with this, Wade, with him, and this is going to be because of my anti-establishment. The fact, this is where Sanders was so messed up. The fact that Sanders had a chance, and he just, for some reason, decided to be a Democrat. He just decided to be a Democrat. Where Trump, and he does get a head start because we've known him for 40 years and he's been all over the place, so he has the name recognition. This is all I'm going to say. He at least beat the establishment back of that party. He kind of did. I don't know. I think the establishment is waiting right now and would much rather have Joe Biden win.
I think the establishment turned into the Tea Party. That is really, I mean, look at, this is Sarah Palin, but worse. There's just the stupidity that you see. I mean, it's so frustrating to see what's happening when money is controlling everything. And that's the reason why I'm at my party. We do not take that corporate money or that money from that lobbyist. So nobody is going to be in our pocket in the Green Party. This is why we have such a hard time to winning elections, because we're facing millions of dollars coming in from these super PACs. We won't take that money. And it's the moral thing to do, because we work for the people, not for the corporation.
Well, that's where that
money's playing in. And as you're fighting that uphill battle, it's even more of a challenge, because you feel that those are it's already foregone. Just like John was speaking earlier, that some of these elections they're already done. There's no point in going out and voting, because they're already a foregone conclusion. It's going to be low voter turnout anyways, probably. And of those people that vote, they already know who they're voting for, because they're family or friends, or part of the good old boy network, right? Definitely
locally. And Citizens United, which is is our name of the show, but it's a double name for me, because I hate Citizens United. I mean, that's January 21st, which is my birthday. 2010 is when Citizens United was was whatever you want to say, ratified, whatever the Supreme Court made their decision. And then right after that comes speechnow.org. I mean, that's what causes dark money. So it was the worst thing that ever happened for elections in the history of our country. I mean, you look at, for example, you look at the Lincoln Project, and you know what they are. I mean, but we don't know where that money's coming from. Right. You don't know it could be coming from anywhere.
Right. And it's basically unlimited right now, correct?
Oh, it's unlimited. It comes from anywhere in the world, too. It could come
untraceable.
From...
Untraceable.
It can come
super
from
PACs.
Anywhere you want. Come from China, come from wherever you want it to come from, it comes. And I don't understand why people aren't more upset with that. I mean, that's just... it's that. You want to talk about a little bit of voter suppression. It's kind of... in I guess, a long way around it, and in a way, kind of that.
Yes.
But
I'm just going to chime in here for a minute again. Just a quick shout out to our social media followers. We have Buffalo Today on. Lobbyists are the root cause corporate greed. We also have Damon Grant. Bernie sold out to Hillary. Literally had the 2016 DNC unfolded. Yeah. And let's see, we also have Kevin Hutchison again, Buffalo Today, and Ronald Beck says George Soros is the best for the money coming in radical groups.
Now, I want to talk about George Soros.
Okay, great.
And Wade, I want to ask you a question about George Soros. George Soros, to me, is the biggest boogeyman in the history of our country. I honestly don't think I've ever... I know I've seen a picture of him, but I don't think I've ever seen him on TV. I don't think I don't know what. Do you know anything about him more than I do? I mean, what do you?
He's almost mystical, like the Wizard of Oz, the man behind the curtain.
You hear so many things, and isn't that just the problem today? Like, what do you know to be true? What is false? It's.
It's crazy.
Everything is challenged now, right? Even things that happened 100 years ago, it's like for some reason now, maybe it didn't really happen, or the story gets skewed a little, or
big time.
Like, why can't things just be as they are? I mean, if it's something that was done wrong, or is hurting someone, or is a disaster for society, I understand it, but just something that happened that is just, let it be. Like, we don't need to change everything about history, do we? I mean, it happened.
Well, yeah, I know what you're saying. I know. My thing is, with that, all right, I'll tell you exactly how I feel. I don't get riled up over a lot of things. I don't get riled up over statues. They don't really get to me. Like, I know some people they do, and I'm not saying anything, and I'm not trying to put anyone down for that. That's fine. But it just doesn't do nothing for me. Like, I don't really, when they come down, I don't feel bad. I mean, I don't feel anything. Like, there's nothing I feel about them.
It's not getting to the root cause of the problem. You know, we see these Christopher Columbus statues being torn down. How about we fix our history books before we start creating destruction?
Yeah, and you know what? I don't care what bottle she comes in, but I love Aunt Jemima syrup.
Oh,
and that ain't no offense to no one. I don't know if they're going to change it, but I love that syrup. I don't care.
Yeah, but
that's going out to you. I love pancakes or waffles or whatever. We're going to have a little fun here tonight, guys, all right?
But would it matter to you if it was the same syrup with a different...
I don't care what it comes in,
right.
but I love it. That's my point.
Yeah, I like pancakes.
Yeah, and syrup, you know.
Yeah, I will definitely say I believe the Black Lives Matter movement. It feels like people that just came in and kind of took over almost. You know what I mean? Sending all these other new messages, and that happens a lot. That happens with so many different movements. So.
Right.
It's really
bandwagoners, right?
Yeah,
in a sense,
and they kind of steal what the root cause of the issue was.
They actually distract from the message,
right? So that happens with so many movements, and it's really unfortunate to see.
Well, all right, now the Green Party. Let's go on to something else. The Green Party, because this is something I always think of, and I was giving President Trump credit for wanting to get out of Afghanistan. He wanted to take 4,000 troops out of Afghanistan. I thought that was good. He was being blocked by both Democrats and Republicans, which don't surprise me. You know, obviously they're going to they pretty much blocked it. At one point, he actually tweeted one day that he was leaving Syria. He tweeted that, and then guess what? He didn't leave Syria. So someone told him, "You're not leaving Syria." So I want to know, what are the Greens? What's the Green Party's like foreign policy type?
Foreign policy. We are the most peaceful party. We are going to, we're going to not go to war. I mean, me and the Green presidential candidate Howie Hawkins. Howie's a great guy. We have differences in this, the way to go about this. I will point out that over 60 cents of every federal dollar you are taxed is going towards our military. We are by far the highest financed military in the world. So I was looking at the budget, looking at numbers, and I seen that even if our military budget was cut up to 40%, we would still be the largest financed military in the world.
Right.
Now, what could we do with that money? Oh my goodness! Universal health care, Medicare for all. We can create them safety nets we need. Create the, the energy sustainability that the Greens are always fighting for. We have an opportunity to create millions of jobs. Back in. How did they get out of the Depression, John? They got out of the Depression by creating more the government putting in, building streets, new hospitals. This is how we got out of that Depression. Well, we have something right now where it's such a desperate need to fix our environment. We have a serious issue. So create them jobs with that issue.
Right.
And...
No.
Put America back to work?
Now, is that part... Now, I think I read somewhere that Howie Hawkins... Now, he ran a lot for governor, I think, here in New York State.
The last 3 times.
Right. And I saw that he's like the father of the Green New Deal. I think he called it.
Yeah, I mean, the Democrats bastardized it, but him and Jill were the basically founders of the Green New Deal.
Now, why... Let me ask you a question about Jill Stein.
Yeah.
What in the world... Did you... Remember when they were smearing her about being a Russian asset and stuff like that?
Yeah.
And why?
Believe it or not, Donald Trump came to the defense, but it was a way to attack Hillary as well. So,
right.
it's just
Like
to get you off your that mindset where there's always somebody else to blame.
Right.
Hillary said herself that it was the Green Party's fault why she lost the election. How is it the Green Party's fault when Jill Stein didn't receive one electoral vote?
Right.
You have to win by electoral votes. So it's really just nonsense. I was somebody in the Democratic Party needs to speak up against these people. I mean, you had Tulsi Gabbard who spoke out and then kind of just recently sold her soul, just like Bernie did years ago.
Well, what happens then sometimes when you do speak out, then you disappear.
Well,
so we got to be very careful on,
Tulsi ended up being, I think they called her to her face a Russian asset or something right there in a debate, I believe. Or Hillary, I don't know. Someone did. I mean, she should have been on every debate stage. I really believe if they had let her continue, she might have won the nomination if it was allowed.
If it was allowed,
yeah.
They had their nomination from the get-go. This is why Donald Trump. Why do you think he was investigating ahead of time about Joe and Hunter Biden? He knew who was going to win the election. I knew who was going to win the election. I left, and after the 2016 DNC convention when Bernie showed everybody how he sold his soul. You can allow a rigged election to happen. How can you stay in a party like that anymore where the people don't choose? So that's exactly what happened to us this election. Nobody really paid attention to many things. So you see, the states that Bernie Sanders won in against in this current primary were all hand ballots. The electronic voting, the poll numbers were so off. The UN states if poll numbers asking people when they're leaving who they voted for, if it's off by 4%, it should be looked into for investigation on possible corruption. This is what the UN says.
Right.
Okay, so 4%. California, 26.5% differential from outcoming polls to the actual vote. It makes no
crazy.
sense.
It does.
And nobody paid attention to it. Bernie's not going to tell you about it because, there's a seat held over Bernie's head. He has the senator seat. He's not going to be sent. All they have to do is run a Democrat against him, and he's gone. So he is going to continue to be that sheepdog that keeps the sheep in place in the Democratic Party, and they don't come here and join the Green Party. What you need to do is come join the Green Party because everything that you stood for Bernie Sanders, I worked for the man. Me and him had definitely a few different ideas.
My question is, did you ever burn one with Bernie? No, but on a serious note, we do have a few people in the chat again. We have Buffalo Today and Kevin Hutchison. They're having they're going through their conversation there together, just having a little bit back and forth. So they're chiming in on their own chat, which is good. I wanted to ask a question about the Green Party. So people may think that the Green Party is affiliated with marijuana and cannabis. Are they? And what's their position on cannabis? Let me rephrase it that way.
We support the recreational and medical use of marijuana.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, I just have some breaking news I heard today live. You heard it first on Citizens United. If you're 18 and over in Canada, you can now purchase medical and or recreational through mail order. So, hey, Canada. Okay, we got no hockey, but we got the marijuana, cannabis. Okay, anyways, just wanted to chime in. How can we get people to join the Green Party? Is there a website, or how do they get in touch with maybe you, or what's the best method, I guess?
Contacting me, you could go to wadevan.org. You could go to the Green Party's website, gp.org, and they'll tell you all about the platforms. You want to read more about it. You can register green when you register for your affiliation.
Wonderful. Thank you. I'm a part of Western New York Normal, so I'm familiar with the legislative process and been to Albany a few times, and I'm the executive director of West New York Normal, so plug for them. So I do believe in medical as well as recreational, and of course in these times of the pandemic, what a better time to legalize it and get all that tax revenue where people are losing millions of dollars, especially here in Niagara Falls, due to our tourism is down, I believe, by about 75% is what I've read. So we have no parking, we have no tourists, very few people here during the week. The weekends get a little bit busier, and I'm sure you're experiencing the same in Lockport. But yeah, so
small place.
Anywhere we can use more tax revenue for the plus is okay with me.
Right, without burdening the taxpayer.
Right.
There's too much burden already in this pandemic, and Lockport, our property taxes are raising again. So we need change.
My next question, Wade, for you, and we were talking about this earlier, is ballot access for Greens and ballot access for all third-party types here, especially in New York State.
Right.
You were telling us, well, you go ahead. Explain what you were saying.
Really ridiculous what happened. This last December, I was one of the Green Party representatives to go to New York State Supreme Court out here in Niagara Falls because Governor Cuomo and 9 committee members tried to make a law without a bill proposed to legislation. So that law stated that the third parties will now have to get almost 3 times the amount of votes to stay on future ballots after the next election. So we took them to court. We won. The New York State Supreme Court said it was unconstitutional what Cuomo and these 9 committee members did by trying to pass this without putting a bill in front of legislation. So yeah, we thought we won. Just a few months later.
Just kidding.
Yeah, just kidding. We won, but in a few months later, we get this. Not even a few months later, we get this COVID, and New York State budget's ready to pass. What does Cuomo do in the middle of a pandemic where everybody needs money? He slips this into the New York State budget, this law that we just beat him out of in December. In which case, legislation probably didn't even read it, but it passed. So, yeah, now we need almost 3 times the amount of votes as we need in previous elections if we're going to continue to be a party in New York State. I mean, talk about killing democracy. This is, and them Democrats get pissed when you say, when you call him King Cuomo. But what is this over? It's retaliation. I mean, this stems from the Working Families Party when Cynthia Nixon won the Working Families Party line and challenged the Democrat, in which case Cuomo has always won that line.
Cuomo.
This doesn't just hurt the Green Party. This hurts the Libertarian Party. This hurts the conservatives. Cuomo needs to be stopped.
Yeah, no, and then I know we were talking about how much you need 45,000 signatures now to get on the ballot.
And we have 26,000 Green registered members. So tell me how that works.
Yeah, you can't.
I hope that the Green Party shows their support, and possibly I'll run for governor in the next election to get them 130,000 votes that we need so we can save the party.
Right.
Obviously I'm not going to win an election in New York State by being in a third-party candidate. I mean, we can hope, but let's save
How many
save
you would
democracy.
need that total number of votes if you did that you would only be doing it for the votes to keep
Save
the party alive.
Save the party.
How many state is it Green Party in other states?
Oh, we're in everywhere. Actually, we're everywhere. We actually even have Green representatives in different countries. In England and Canada. A lot of progressives places that you see, like Finland, Denmark, so on and so forth.
So if anyone out there on social media land is from another country, chime in. I mean, why not?
Well, the other thing I was going to say, actually something I read this today. It was a Newsweek article. It was a really good article. Let me see what it was. The headline is Libertarians and Green Party making surprising appearances in the 2020 polls. It was really good. There was a CNBC poll that showed both of them at 3% nationwide, and that's interesting. I mean, there is a, you know what, me and Chris, remember when I let you in earlier, we were talking, coming up the elevator.
Yep.
And there's a feeling in the air of something. That's the way I feel it. There's a feeling for either...
People seem very edge.
Yeah.
It's almost like an angry, edgy type of... don't want to be wronged sometimes, people, or they want you to say something just so they can have an argument back with you. It seems like, what we said specifically was everything turns political, no matter what it is. Nothing's off limits. And in the meantime, you're just arguing, well, it's Democrat, Republic, and nothing gets resolved.
That's why I think there really is. This is the time for third party. Mm-hmm. This is the time.
Awakening.
Because enough is enough. There are so many people like me that I was a Democrat forever, that I finally had enough, and I cast my last Democrat vote in this last primary, and now I'm no party. And I think there's a lot of us out there, because Donald Trump doesn't win with just Republicans either. I mean, there was a lot of things that happened there. A lot of Bernie voters. There's people out there that don't think in just about like in a. In that box,
Right.
There's a lot of us.
Actually, more people are staying home than voting.
Yeah.
So I definitely believe you're absolutely right. How do we change this? It's hard for us Greens. Like I said, we're the only party that doesn't accept that corporate money and doesn't accept the money from the lobbyists. We get no fair play in debates. I mean, I was lucky to be in that mayor debate because thankful the Union Sun and Journal and the local paper really spoke out about me being in that debate. But I've seen in the Congress race just out here recently, our Green Party candidate wasn't invited to the debate, and I seen it looked like they added it on. It was kind of like crooked on this media company, stating that you need at least $50,000 in campaign finances to participate in a debate against the Democrats and Republicans. So they do anything they can to stop that third party from getting into the debate because it's manipulation.
Yeah, because they don't want anyone to hear it.
No, informed consent, is that what you call it, John?
Oh, that manufacturing
or
consent.
Manufactured consent.
They don't want anyone to ever hear it. They don't want. They'll do anything they can, for example, to keep Wade away.
Right.
All of these people.
John, I won an election. This states it right there. I won a primary election when I wasn't running. I won as a write-in candidate because what these Democrats and Republicans do is they have a thing called opportunity to ballot where they sign their own friends, family members up into the Green Party. These people write their names in, and they now have another ballot line come general election.
Yeah.
So
wouldn't it be interesting? You brought up a good point that it seems like more people are staying home. Maybe they're not going out and exercising their right to vote, or maybe we've talked about this before. Maybe people are just kind of giving up. People are so busy nowadays, right?
Why wouldn't you? If you're in the Democratic Party, why wouldn't you give up? I mean, Bernie won every county in West Virginia, 55 different counties in West Virginia. He won every county. Who did the superdelegate pick? Who got hit and who won West Virginia? It wasn't the person who won with the votes. Hillary Clinton won that.
You can go to electoral college versus popular vote, and that's a whole nother show, right?
Like how can all these people and one person have basically veto their votes?
Right.
This is how can you stay in a party like that and continue to believe that they are, for you? They stab you in the back every time. They'll tell you one thing during when they're running. They're going to stab you in the back afterwards.
That's politicians in general.
Well,
right?
no, Democrats.
Republicans will stab you in the chest. They'll tell you everything
They're
going
to tell you first.
Them Democrats will tell you one thing and then do the complete opposite.
Because they're the same.
They are.
In all
the
honesty,
exact
Democrats
same.
and Republicans are no
boy.
different.
Oh, boy.
They've never been any different. They're still not different. Think about it. Right now, you have Nancy Pelosi running around ripping papers up and doing everything else, but she's still funding everything he wants, everything the president wants. She's not doing a damn thing. Think about
mirage.
No, but think about I think back to the Patriot Act or whatever that was in 2001. I mean, that thing is still going. Mm-hmm. It keeps on being refunded, and year after year, no Democrat stops this. No one stops it. No, it just keeps going.
You thought that change was going to happen with Obama, and the change happened to be more drone strikes.
But why do we got to label a Democrat or a Republican issue? Why can't we just resolve the issue?
Yeah, that's a good question, but you can't because, well, you're right. It isn't a Democrat or Republican issue because they're kind of combined. They're just they are it. Right. And they control. It's all like it all reminds me.
They're the director, the editor, everything else.
It's WWE style nonsense. I mean, while they are doing what they're doing, for us to watch on cable news network, they're doing the other stuff behind
the background.
Yeah, that is just I mean,
you don't hear about Elizabeth Warren. And other Democratic senators as well voting to increase the military budget for Donald Trump like he suggested. You don't hear about these things. Like it's just utter nonsense, their arguments, and they're so hypocritical when you compare them to history from the opposite party. It's a mess, and I don't want to be a part of it. I'd rather lose every election I'm in and keep my morals than be a puppet.
Well, what I'm
a sellout to the powerful that have all the money.
I got a good idea that I do because I vote. So when I go vote, I constantly just vote incumbents out over and over and over. I don't care who they are. I don't care what parties. Because if I don't have a choice, because here in Niagara County, a lot of times you have no choice. It's a circus. So I'll always vote out the incumbent. I don't care who the incumbent is. I don't care. I will always vote them out because we're not going to get term limits. So I'm just voting everyone out all the time, every time. It doesn't matter to me. I just think all incumbents have to go. I don't know what else you do, because if you don't do that, I mean, we've been left no other choice here.
You see just refreshed BS. Like when these people come in, when new people
same
come
game,
in,
different name.
Exactly. There is no leadership, and it's just you're told by these unions what to do.
Just reminding everyone out there.
Anyone
want to call in?
The next campaign.
804-1229 is our calling number. If anyone wants to call in.
We've got a situation here in Niagara Falls where the administration, we're in trouble. We got a $4 million, I think, gap, and obviously we're not going to get any bed tax. We're not going to get stuff because there's no tourists. And we just got the garbage tax, put out garbage fee. And the administration here went and told the unions, can you give us a 15% of your payback? And now when you go talk to, of course we have 7 unions here. We've got you got the steel workers, those guys, and they're separated between the ones that are, what do you call it? When they're tested for the job, civil service, and the other ones that are hourly. Then you got police and fire, and then the police are split up in between patrolmen and and the captains. So they got their own union. Firemen, the same thing, and there's a trades union. But then when you want to give up 15% of your pay, you're talking to people in public works that make $13 an hour,
and they've been there for 35 years. And the gentleman they had on the edge of the falls brought up a good point, too, where the city comes to the unions and says, okay, we want you to take a 15% cut. Right. But what is the city offering them in return? Oh, just less money. But they're not willing to give. What do they have in their hands to bring to the table for if the unions were willing to give any part, and maybe not 15, let's say they did 10, but what what are they getting other than they, keep their job, I guess, or pension?
My point was, though, if you're going to do that, and this is something I know, Wade, you'd be dealing with, because I know you're going to be running for mayor, maybe, in Lockport, possibly.
A lot of supporters came, so I believe there's a great chance.
And, I mean, you
go.
You're asking them for 15%. Now, I don't know if you know this, Wade. Right before the city administrator, you saved $42,000 because he's retired and he couldn't get more than $35,000. So they saved $42,000 on his salary. Okay, whatever. And they end up, we're going to keep him. Great. Then right before the pandemic hit, they took that $42,000 a year and created a job called the public information officer, which is pure patronage, right, and all that. Yeah. And every one of those guys except for one, the councilman, loved it. Yes, good. We want it. Now we got the big Republican, majority now, and these people are going to really, we're going to tighten our belts and do everything. They were just good with it. They loved it, and it makes no sense, man.
It doesn't. There's no mindset on innovation to properly use money we have to make less expenses in the future. There's no innovation in any of these people that are elected, and it's just the same old recycled nonsense.
You're live on the air with Citizens United. Hello, you're live on the air.
This is Blake.
Hey.
So, first of all, thank you for doing this. I spent 6 years in Western New York from Seattle. Left Western New York in 2006, went down to San Antonio for 12 years, and I've been back here for 14 months looking for you guys.
Yeah, and we actually spoke well over
I know.
Media. Yeah.
Right.
I was actually going to talk to you.
I find so much systematic oppression here and the bubbles and the corruption. I have so many people now that have said, well, hey, if you just don't like Western New York, get out. And I said, listen, that's not the problem. The problem is we need people to help change. And right. I love that you guys are doing this. I want to do anything I can do to help because we need more of it.
For sure.
Well, thank you.
Power in numbers, absolutely.
Well, thank you. Thank you for your call, sir. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, he's right.
Wonderful.
I mean, the way politics is here in Niagara County, it's. I mean, look at the. We were talking about this earlier. You look at the sheriff. You look at the judge race. I mean, it was all set. Each party's going to get something. One party will get the sheriff. The other party will get the judge. That you can't be more powerful than that.
No.
When you have the sheriff and the judge, you're in good shape. Yeah. So you're going to have them. You know what I want to do real quick? I want to bring up, guys, the temper tantrum at the city hall meeting the other night.
Oh yeah,
Wait,
it came to an abrupt end.
Yeah,
supposedly.
So we're going to bring this up.
Yeah, you told me about it. I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Oh yeah, it'll be a good time. This is something here. This guy. Then after you see it, I'll give you a little context to it after it comes up. But it's it's here it comes.
All right, they're queuing that up. And again, thank you everyone for tuning in, whether you're here locally, Western New York, or in state or out of state. Thanks for tuning in. Please like our page and enjoy the video.
Before we adjourn the meeting, I just want to thank those of you who came to the meeting tonight. And just lastly, I'll just say that, look, we know that the city is in need of improvement. We know that there's blight out there. I can tell you that this administration, this meeting is adjourned. Try to be civil. You can't do it.
There we go.
There we go. One more time.
Now let's give it another shot.
Thank you, Buffalo, today. They say amen, guys. Thank you, everyone.
Can you tell me the name of this person?
Oh, it's Chris Vascio.
Chris Vascio.
He's the chairman of the council.
Okay.
Oh, they did? Everyone heard that? Okay.
Oh, okay.
All right.
I didn't hear it. I'm sorry.
All right. Okay, well, here, I'll tell you. I'll tell you. So the people heard it. Okay. Here's what it was. There was a woman who came up there during the public can speak, and she was upset about the garbage fee. She was upset about the blight around here. She was upset about her taxes. She was upset about being a homeowner. She was upset about everything that's happening. Okay. She was asking questions, and she wanted answers. And, she got it off her chest. So she leaves. And now the meeting's coming to an end. And Chris Vascio there, the council chairman, Republican, decided he wanted to really kiss the rear end of the administration, okay? Because he needs them to get reelected. His reelection is coming up this in 2021. So he was about to start saying, he starts out very condescendingly telling them that, I know that we have blight. We know the problems. And then he goes on to say, but this administration, and the lady started saying something. And that's when he goes, that's it. Throws his hands up in the air and says, I was trying to be civil, but you can't do it here.
Did he ever say, you people?
No, I didn't say that. But that's my point with that is, though, this is why we can't stand you people. There's you people. This is why we can't stand.
Timing is everything. I knew it would work.
This is why, though, like Congress has a 19% approval rating. This is why.
They don't understand who they work for.
Yeah, no.
They work for the people, and yet they are...
He's working for the administration.
Yeah.
They got their own agenda.
Yeah. He's working for them because he needs them to get reelected. He could give a damn. I don't care what he says. He could care less about any of them. Because at that point, just be quiet. Just be quiet and walk off.
Right.
You have nothing to say. But you wanted the walk off. He wanted to be, he wanted to have that shot. Bang, and I'm going to get it all. And you know what? She actually helped him not embarrass himself further. Because at that point, he was going to just do whatever he could to make sure the mayor and the administration loved him. And, it's amazing. And I want you to think about that. Those are Republicans and those are Democrats, all just, doing what they do because there's no difference. No difference at all. No difference. And this is here in city politics. How's it in Lockport? Do you get any good stuff happening in the...
We have the same nonsense.
Yeah.
They are more these people who are representatives in many cases, they care more about their reelection and what their party's telling them to do. There is no leadership, like I said. They take orders, and who you think these people are for mayors and legislation, local legislation, they are just taking their orders from these local unions.
Well, and as John had mentioned earlier, what a perfect time for people to get involved, to voice their concerns, to peacefully protest, to have your voice heard, to, you're spending more time at home due to the pandemic. We use that time to educate yourself, to, watch different news sources, not to watch the same channel over and over, and to become involved in the political process because, as we know, as callers have said, as people chiming in our social media said, unless we continue this, unless we use our voice to be constructive, positive, there is going to be no change. The future is almost predetermined for us. So unless we take this opportunity to gather our numbers to become more powerful, whether that's through a third party such as Green Party, whether that's through a local organization, but the involvement at City Council, how about writing a letter to the editor? It's still an option. So people's involvement, people from different parts of the community, we love having guests in. And you as our first guest, we get such a different point of view from somebody from looking out, looking in, instead of the same voices,
Could you imagine if we set up, and I've talked about this before, Wade and Chris, could you imagine if they set up, and they do it in different cities, I know they do it in Orlando, Florida, that was one of them, if we set up a citizens review board. Could you imagine if we got 5 or 7, let's say 7 here, or 5 here in Niagara Falls, because we all know that we got different sections, LaSalle and DeVoe and North End and East Side and all that, and we got somebody, we were able to figure it, and we're going to get all different women, men, African American, everything, and we had that board, and that board is there whenever there's misconduct, and it isn't them calling out misconduct, and they're not paid. If there's a something put out, like a charge against a police officer, a charge against a politician, whatever, or whatever, or a city worker, whatever you want to say, somebody who works for the citizens, and they're able to be there as that board. Now they're not the judge and jury, but that board is going to be able to at least hear and give their opinion on behalf of the citizens, because we know that the politicians aren't on behalf of the citizens. So how about we do? I want that board. When I watch those guys and at City Hall during the protest that you two guys were at, and they took a knee, and I thought to myself, you know what? They're not going to do anything, because now they set up a board, a commission of people that they don't.
There's no true representation of the city.
No, we got a priest from Stella Niagara. Or from Niagara University. Here comes, instead of getting a teacher from Niagara Falls, we're going to get the superintendent from Niagara Falls.
Or somebody that makes $15 an hour and really knows what it's like to try and survive, whether you have milk or bread, not both.
But this is why and for me, I'm at the point where I just want to take a hammer to all of them. Like, I can't even feel like I want to be nice. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, I've had it. You just got to, like, hammer away, because it doesn't stop. And that's how I feel. I mean, I agree with you, Chris, writing the letters, do all, you're right, and get involved. But at some point, man, you got to just say enough's enough. Because after I just watched this Niagara County this election is disgusting. And this is for public safety election. Think about that. This is for judge, sheriff, and all that. There should be no politics in this. In all honesty, they should run as nothing but themselves.
There you go. How about that?
How about you just say no? I'm not going to take any, and there'll be no endorsement. There'll be nothing. It's just me. But no. And you watch them. You watch these people fight. There's no election. The biggest game is seeing how I can get on a different line. I've seen it too much, and it's disgusting. And you want to talk? People should be really upset. And I honestly, I don't see it.
What do you think if we say no soup for them?
Yeah, well,
that's how our man Peter Green would say, no soup for them.
But Wade, what do you think?
I believe that. Everything is so driven by these two big parties to take anything that we try to make independent, and there's really money and people in higher positions that are not allowing that democracy to happen.
And right here too, it's not just Washington. That's what I try to tell people. Don't get caught up in
goes all the way down to the local politics.
Don't get caught up in the sporting event of watching the politics in Washington, because guess what? That really doesn't matter in a lot of ways. Look what's happening right here. I mean, it's a circus what's going on.
Local elections matter.
I'm very encouraged by what we've seen in Niagara County, though, with that protest in Niagara Falls and in Lockport. I'm encouraged by the people. It seems like there's an awakening, and like as you said, the presidential candidates are now up to 3%. I mean, 3% is not much, but it's better than that under 1% that we were. If we get, we are that party that doesn't accept the money from corporations and lobbyists. So what we need to do is Green Party needs to get 8 million votes in the presidential election, because if this happens, $7 million are funded from the federal government for the next election for Green Party to use. So this is how we're actually able to fight it, is by joining a party, the only party in America that doesn't take that money.
And that's huge.
That is so huge. And, it puts us at a disadvantage, but we're not going to sell our soul.
Right.
We're going to work for the people.
And it's just,
get you jobs.
It's amazing watching Democrats and Republicans fight each other, and they fight like, and it reminds me of like Red Sox, Yankees fans. It's all it seems like to me. It's just a big, it's such a game, and
they make fun of each other by calling each other a socialist, and I don't even think they know how to define the word socialist.
No, that's been true forever. So and they call each other it's absurd, and it reminds me of sports. It really does. It reminds me of all of that. It's all it is. It's a big game.
They don't talk about issues anymore. Like, there's no debating on. It only seems like in my party we debate each other on like what's the best way to approach a situation. Like I said, me and Howie Hawkins, we have differences of opinions on a lot of things. But at least in that party, we have the conversations for debate.
Well, at least have a plan, right?
Have a voice.
Have a resolution. Like, if you're just going to argue back and forth about, well, your point is right or my point is right, but you have no solution, I mean, you're just wasting everybody's time. So come to the table with a plan. If you're fed up and you've had enough politics and you want change, the Green Party is an option for you.
And I'm looking for anyone to support, to come on our show, Citizens United, that's from any third party. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear from a Libertarian and the others. You know, that would be great. You're definitely
love to debate a Libertarian.
Yeah, that'd be nice. We could do that right here.
That
awesome. Would be pretty fun. But then we could, you guys, eventually, there's some points where you guys intersect, though, I think. Like
there
where
is.
There's common ground.
There is some common ground, such as in cases with our overseas military, such as in cases with trying to decriminalize and end the war on drugs.
Right.
But their solution is definitely different when it comes to there is no help. Like we're going to give, the Green Party is going to make sure that if many drugs are decriminalized, that we're going to have that Medicare for all, so we can get you that service for rehabilitation. I mean, we're talking the Libertarians will just do nothing. It's like Libertarian Lassie just letting Timmy stay in the hole.
Right.
The road service, they don't believe in paying taxes. I mean, I'm pissed at what's happening with taxes in Lockport because I don't see services for my taxes. Now, what the Green Party is doing, we're not going to raise your taxes. We're going to reallocate the budget properly to where you're seeing them services for the taxes you pay.
Right.
Last call-in tonight again. Anyone on call-in for phone comments, 716-804-1229. Free speech is on the menu here, according to Peter Green. We don't invite you to call just to agree, but to speak and share your voice. So again, if you feel the need to chime in, please do.
Yeah, well,
Thank you, Peter.
Speaking of free speech and the First Amendment, I am really a little bit surprised at how that's being trampled in our country with no regard. I mean, it's really under attack. I mean, I would say the First and the Fourth Amendment are really, really under attack right now.
Big time.
It's just amazing to me that no one cares. I didn't realize so many people were so authoritarian. I didn't realize how happy they are to want water cannons. They want things to happen that I just can't even. It just amazes me. I wouldn't even believe that they'd want it. It's like it's stuff that goes on in China, and it's just something.
I used to ask how the Holocaust even happened when I was in school. How the hell does that even happen? Why were the people stopping this? And oh my God, like I see it now. I see the authoritarian fascism that's just allowed. And you don't question your leader. What? Question your leader. Like, if I ever do win for mayor or whatever, question me.
We would get questioned as citizens, right? And we're not even on the hot seat.
Not against you.
Right.
That's just it. That's a state of politics we need to get out of. Everybody should be able to question anything.
Right. Wade, I hope that you'll come back again.
Oh, it was fun.
Definitely, right? You'll come back. Yeah. We're going to have you back a lot because we got a lot coming up here and a lot of things with the election coming up.
And very informative. I think you brought some very good points up tonight. We certainly had our viewers interacting, and you were our first guest, so thank you for that again.
Thank you guys for inviting me. You guys have been so welcoming.
Definitely.
Glad to have you. Mm-hmm. Now, before we close out, I've got to read a few numbers here. In Niagara County is outstanding. Area code 716-278-9662. There's another number that's an 800 number. It's RAIN with another N on the end, so it's RAINN. You can find it online. It's 1-800-656-4673. They're there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So please don't be afraid to call, because sexual abuse is really seeming to be running. It just seems like it's running wild, and just get help if you can and when you need it. Also, I want to give out the number for mental health, depression, suicide, thoughts, all of that kind of stuff. Because there's a lot of depression going on right now. I know with COVID, and and different things.
Hey,
and
hey, John, real quick on that one.
Go ahead.
I always support you on that one as well. I've been reading or hearing in the news lately, I believe they're going to try and come up with like a 3-digit number for mental health. Have you heard about that?
Oh, no, really?
Similar to like a 911, but it's going to
great.
be a number specifically for mental health. So I was going to look that up. I didn't get a chance. Maybe I can mention it at the end of next show. But look forward to maybe a 3-digit number for those seeking help in a mental health crisis situation.
That would be outstanding. Well, the number I have here is 1-800-662-HELP, 1-800-662-4357. All anonymous, of course, all confidential. Please don't forget, if you ever need any of those services, they're there. The YWCA also in Niagara County is outstanding. Also, I do want to take a minute to thank all the guys behind the glass, Cole, Julian, Dustin, Peter, of course, Barb doing what she does, getting everyone comfortable.
Oh, and don't forget about Robin.
Yeah,
Robin
man has done an outstanding job.
And don't mess with Robin, man. She likes UFC, and she likes them punches, because now that there's no fans in the audience, she can hear the body blows. And so it's like, it's authentic. It's like you're there. So don't mess with Robin. Peace, everyone. Thanks, John.
Thank you, Wade. And everybody, take it easy. See you next Wednesday.